What's up, guys? Let me make sure I'm live on Kick and Twitch. So yesterday after I got off, I didn't even realize I had been streaming for so long. Man, time really flies when you're coding. Hmm. So, I had to go do some stuff. We had to go to the bank. Had to. All right, this is good. This it shows my video here from yesterday, but it doesn't show that I'm live. What's up with that? All right, well, ooh, I wanted to take this political compass. So, if economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interest of transnational corporations. Globalization is a term used to describe how trade and technology have made the world into a more connected and independent place. Globalization also captures in its scope the economic and social changes that have come about as a result. Okay. And transnational means um, a large company operating internationally beyond national boundaries, corporations. So it's saying if 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 it's inevitable, so you can't change it. There's no stopping it. It's gonna happen regardless of what you want. Should it primarily serve humanity, right? The human race, rather than interest of uh corporations. So I'm like companies like what's that one company that's involved with like all the games? Shit. Um, they're involved with like League of Legends. uh, uh, so yeah, like Huawei. There's another one. I forgot what it was called. But basically, like, and it's not just like them. I guess like if you're in China, then you'd probably not want Google or Amazon or stuff like that to take over. Oh, Alibaba. So, um, I agree with that strongly. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. Yeah, yeah. I mean, because if you don't support your country, well, I don't know. There's no like somewhat agree or like midpoint. It's just agree or disagree. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. Um, yeah, yeah. Doesn't matter what country I'm in. If it's my country, I'm gonna support it regardless of what the circumstances are because they're gonna do whatever they want. And if I um you gotta fight for what you love, you know. If you're not gonna support your country regardless of whether it's right or wrong, like you should probably go somewhere else. America especially is very about patriotism, right? Quality of being patriotic, devotion to and vigorous support of one's country. So America is supposed to be patriotic and very much about um, supporting your country. So, who was it? Reagan that said, was it Reagan? Ask not what you can do for your country. No, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. Kennedy. Why did I say Reagan? What am I thinking of?
Vice President Johnson, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chief Justice, President Eisenhower, renew the power forth from this time and
Anyways, you get it. He fucking said some weird shit like that, but it, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. No, what? That's stupid. That's stupid, bro. Oh, I didn't choose to be born in America. I'm gonna support. I'm gonna support fucking China because they're China. Nah, man, nah. I don't agree with that at all. If anything, I'm gonna fight you on that. All right, so our race has many superior qualities compared to other races. Our race, our race. I don't know. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. What is a race? Of humans based on shared physical or social qualities, groups generally viewed as distinct within a given society. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah, yeah, I mean, but what if the enemy of my enemy is also my enemy? Hmm. Then I have to strongly disagree. But in this case, I'm assuming that the enemy of my enemy is not my enemy, but rather my friend. So, military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. That defies international law. Rules, norms, and standards generally recognized as binding. Military action that defies. Disagree. There is now a whirring fusion of information and entertainment. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality. Ultimately, in today's society, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because if you're rich, you're gonna you're gonna hang out with more rich people, and if you're poor, then you're probably gonna be surrounded by a lot of poor people. So and those are all classes. So controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Yeah. Well, most people don't want to work to begin with, I would say. Like if you gave everyone the option to not work, like okay, there's no need for you to work, and in place you'll just get a paycheck. You'll just get paid every month, once a month. Um then they're probably going to worry more about whether that money they're getting is stable rather than having a stable job. They would want to make sure that that whatever money they're getting a month doesn't somehow end up depreciating in value because inflation got out of hand. So I would agree that controlling inflation is more important because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment. They require regulation because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment. Yeah. Yes, 100%. Because most, I think I saw like percentage of psychopaths. Fuck. No. What is going on right now? Oh, it's because I pressed tab. Uh, Psychopaths in. Roughly 4% to as high as 12% of CEOs exhibit psychopathic traits. So 4% to 12%, and this was in 2019. So that's kind of high. That's kind of a high number. So if you're taking that, psychopaths tend to gravitate towards CEO positions more often than anything else, or they just tend to gravitate towards positions of power, um, then you can't really. They have no problem with destroying the environment if it improves the bottom line. So they need to be regulated. They have to be regulated. Otherwise, they're not gonna do shit. They're not gonna, like, why would they? They're fucking psychopaths. Psychopaths don't give a fuck about being nice and shit. From each according to his ability. And then there's a competition too. If other people are doing it, even as little as 4% of people are doing it, um, everyone else is gonna follow suit. They're gonna be like, dude, we have to keep up. We have to do what the other people are doing in order to stay in the game. So it only takes one person. It only takes one person to fuck it up, and everyone else is gonna follow. From each according to his ability to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. From each according to his ability to each according to his need. From each according to his ability. Okay. This is very like humanitarian, I think. So I agree with that. The freer the market, the freer the people. I want to say no, but I also want to say yes because a free market can be a little uh I'm gonna have to disagree with that. Regularly agree with that. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now bottled branded consumer product. That's a sad reflection on our society. Is it though? Let's think about that. Let's think about that for a second. People need water, and they need filtered water, and filters go bad. They need to be replaced periodically. Uh, the the means to collect the water also cost money. So there's a lot of costs that go into getting drinking water to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with that because instead of strongly disagree, I'm thinking because there is a cost, maybe the government should handle it. It's just water, but at the same time, it's it is we are in a free market, so we are free people to do what we want. If you don't like having to buy water in a bottle and whatnot, you're always free to drink out of the fucking garden hose. That's always an option, right? You can always drink from the sink. Is that a good idea? Probably not. Uh, but you can do it. So land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. No, wait, shouldn't be. No, no, no. It should be. It should be. It should be. What do you want us to do? Fucking fight over it? What like what's the alternative, right? Like, oh, you got 10 acres of land. I'm gonna fucking murder your whole family and take all 10 acres and no one can do anything because that's how we take it. That's how we get it. Like, no. No. Buy and sell that shit. It's land. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. Yo, what's up? Glad to see you. You actually made it this time. The stream was late today because I had to do some lawn work and did a little workout before. So, but I'm here. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing. Yes. Yes, I agree with that. It is regrettable. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This part right here, especially, contribute nothing to their society. There would be nothing wrong with it if they actually contributed to society, but the fact that they're not contributing shit is what makes it really unfortunate. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. Our practice of shielding a country's domestic industries from foreign competition by taxing imports. Protection is sometimes necessary in trade by taxing imports. Isn't that what happened with the solar panels and the tariffs? A tariff is a customs duty or tax levied on imports of merchandised goods. A shielding a country to foreign competition. No, I don't really agree with that. Not strongly, but I don't really agree with that. That's kind of that put a huge halt on a lot of the solar energy stuff. So there can be a lot of good that comes from all that, and just raising taxes on something for the under the pretense that you're shielding us from domestic industries and competition of all things. Competition is healthy. Competition is good. There should be competition. A little bit of competition ain't never hurt nobody. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. Only social responsibility of a company. What does that even mean? Social responsibility is an ethical theory in which individuals are accountable for fulfilling their civic duty and actions of an individual must and the actions of an individual must benefit the whole of society. In this way, there must be a balance between economic growth and the welfare of society and environment. Okay. So the only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The rich are too highly taxed. Are too highly taxed. I do not agree with that. I don't know. Because again, they don't fucking contribute to society. How else are they supposed to contribute to society? Taxes, right? Tax the fucking rich, dude. Tax the rich. Like they don't contribute shit. All they do is hold on to their fucking mountains of gold like fucking dragons. And then we're just here fucking fighting each other for scraps and nothing. Like, nah, tax the shit out of them. That taxes that fucking taxes goes into it helps society, and if they're not going to contribute willingly, then that's the only way we can force them to contribute. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. No. Everyone should have the same access. Governments should penalize businesses that mislead the public. Yes. Yes. Because I think there is an issue with cereals right now. So cereal companies, um, like they have to stop marketing as healthy when they're not. Kellogg agrees to stop marketing sugar cereals as healthy. Um, Lawsuit. So it's misleading, right? So you buy a box of cereal, you think it's supposed to be healthy, and you're eating it like under the guise that, hey, I'm gonna be good, like this is good for me, but you find out it's loaded with sugar. I mean, granted, you should be able to like uh, tell on your own. You should be able to make those kind of judgments on your own, but at the same time, like the businesses shouldn't be doing that shit. Like that's just that's just shitty. Like I don't even know how to put that. That's just awful. Don't do that. Penalize the shit out of them for doing that stupid shit. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have a box of fruity pebbles in my pantry, and I thought it was actually fruit. I thought it was made with real fruit. Then I found out that Kellogg's been lying to me, and now I'm like, what the fuck? Telling me I'm not getting my daily dose of fruit? Predator multinational nationals are companies that seek to monopolize either a whole industry or certain areas of a market in order to gain partial or full control of it, and hence stop rival entrepreneurship, enhance market value, profit, and or control its consumer. Predator multinationals are companies that seek to monopolize either a whole industry or certain areas of a market. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, ooh. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability. Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely, dude. What is a monopoly? A monopoly implies an exclusive possession of a market by a supplier of a product or a service for which there is no substitute. In this situation, the supplier is able to determine the price of the product without fear of competition from other sources or throughout substitution products. Sub or through substitute products. Again, competition is good. You should be competing. You should have to um lower your prices if you have to because someone else found a way to make it cheaper, or raise the prices because everyone else is raising the prices. Competition is good. We need competition, and if a company is monopolizing on something, there is no competition. Where is the competition? Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. Mm, 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 no. No, no. Oh, people shouldn't be punished for not wanting to have kids. All authority should be questioned. Yeah, yeah, it should. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Taxpayers should not be expected. Taxpayers be expected to prop up any theaters, museums. And then so wait, what? Taxpayers. Who owns the theaters? And the museums, I mean, I could see museums because they're like national treasures. They're not talking about movie theaters. Theaters like where plays are played out in. Oh, yeah, okay. So taxpayers should not be expected. But the taxpayers, what does that mean? Does the government pay out of taxpayer money for that shit? Because if it's okay. So it comes out of your tax monies. No. Well, but museums yes, but theaters no. That's the weird one. So I'm just gonna disagree. Theaters, we can live without opera. We can live without fucking Phantom of the Opera. But museums do matter. Museums are, you know, that shit does matter. We should have theaters or museums. That one's a weird one. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Compulsory. Required by law or rule, obligatory. Should not make classroom attendance. I'm gonna agree with that. Only because I had the worst attendance. I had the absolute worst attendance, so and I got truant because of it. And so, but I was at school. Like, I did make it to school. I was there. It's just, I think it should, yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be. uh, Like, you definitely shouldn't be getting an award for fucking getting to school every single day on time. Like, what the fuck kind of shit is that? All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. That's I'm gonna disagree on that one. Different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. No, because diversity is good. You different sorts of people in quotes will shape your opinions and your it'll change you for the better. I think good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Yeah, but there's a difference between abusing your children and like giving them a little pow pow. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Yeah, like if your kid is keeping too many secrets from you, it's because you're not creating a space where they feel comfortable with uh with with talking. And sometimes, it's okay. That's okay that your kid doesn't want to talk to you about shit like that. They shouldn't have to feel forced into it. If you want an open relationship, you got to create that naturally. Naturally. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. Yeah. I mean, it's just weed. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. No. 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 That shouldn't be the prime function. Because jobs are like, so here's the thing about finding a job. Um. So yeah, finding a job. I found a bunch of jobs right here, right? And if I wanted to know, okay, do I qualify for this job, a cashier? What you'll do in this role, there's our store associates are passionate about creating a hassle-free shopping experience for our customers through their eagerness to help in-depth product, blah blah blah, role responsibilities, yada yada. Here's the pay rate. Um, and then what they're looking for. If you fill out all of those requirements, then you can just apply to this company on their site. And look, I just found so many jobs. I didn't even have to type anything either. Like I just went on this website called Indeed. And if I wanted to like be specific, I could be like, um, I want to get a job as I do electrical, so I can look for a job as an electrician, right? Um, where I don't know, just anywhere. A licensed electrician, so pays about $30 to $35 an hour. You gotta have a minimum of 3 to 5 years of experience as a licensed journeyman or master electrician. Right off the bat, I mean, I don't have that, so I might just skip that one. Let's look at the next one. So here, that's the thing with finding jobs. You don't need to have your school teach you how to fucking find a job. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. Serious inheritable disabilities. No, I don't agree with that. The serious inheritable disabilities. What's a serious inheritable disability though? Because there's inheritable disabilities and then there's serious inheritable disabilities, right? Do you believe that people Down syndrome? Like so, like Down syndrome. Um, uh, like it's a yes and a no. It's hard because like I get it. You don't. I can't imagine the quality of life for someone with Down syndrome is that amazing. Uh, what are the symptoms? Yeah, what are the symptoms? Flattened face, small head, short neck, protrudes tongue, upward slanting eyes, poor muscle tone. Uh, 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 um, Intellectual disabilities. Most children with Down syndrome have mid to moderate cognitive impairment. Language is delayed. I only laugh because you told me not to. And both short and long term memory is affected. Short and long term. Ooh, I don't know. I'm gonna disagree with it, but I also kind of agree with it. Yeah, because for one, I don't think that anyone should be prohibited from having uh from reproducing, because I don't think we understand how how this shit works too well. Because like, what if there's a gene? out there, someone has like a specific like magic gene that cures Down syndrome, you know, or if even if like so nowadays you can like alter DNA before conception. So um, if you do have inheritable disease disability, then you could probably alter your DNA so that it's not there anymore. I think if anything, people with serious inheritable disabilities should at least know before they reproduce that they have it, because like I'm assuming that this is like a regular looking person, but like they have a brother with Down syndrome, or like um a relative, a distant relative, and somehow it's in their DNA somewhere. It's in their genes, but they're perfectly normal, right? They're like these people are perfectly normal people. If we force people not to reproduce that had these inherited diseases, what would it look like if we for exactly right? What would it look like? Like so I'm assuming someone gets pregnant with a serious inheritable disease disability, um, and they know that that person's pregnant, um, then abortion, it would be it would be aborted. It would have to be aborted because there's no way you can know that um so you I don't think you'd be able to like stop them from reproducing. But if they did get somebody pregnant and you knew they had a serious inheritable disability, then it would be the doctor's obligation to abort the baby. And so that's what I think that's what that would look like, to not allow them. It's like you're forcing people to get abortions. So I don't know. I don't really agree with that. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. Yes, absolutely. The practice of training people to obey rules or code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience. Wait a minute. That's not what I was thinking. Hmm. I was thinking like, well, I guess that is what I was thinking. Oh well. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. Savage and civilized? No, I don't agree with that. There are savages. There are definitely savages. Fierce, violent, and uncontrolled. Yeah, there's definitely savages, and I think it comes from a lack of discipline. Civilized is with the discipline. No, the reason I think children should learn discipline is because of this right here. It leads to savages. Oh yeah, savage. Well, there there are savage people out there. They I don't think you can really deny that they are pretty savage. And there are people that are quote unquote civilized that bring to a stage of social culture development considered to be more advanced. Yeah, there are definitely some people out there that are just a little more civilized, and it comes from them having discipline. They control their uh they just control themselves better. Uh because I think inherently everyone wants to be savage. Everyone wants to uh you know, be savage. There's just some people that don't have the discipline, so they just act out on their savagery. And then there's people that are disciplined and they're more civilized because of it. And I don't think it has anything to do with their cultures. It definitely doesn't have anything to do with their cultures. That shit just, again, it goes down to not having discipline. Children aren't disciplined, so they grow up to become savages. Children that are disciplined grow up to be civilized. It's as simple as that. I think. I might be wrong, but that's just my opinion. My opinion. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. No. Refuse the opportunity to work. Oh, so they refuse the opportunity to work. They're able to work, but they don't want to work. They should not expect society support. No, I don't. I don't agree with that. If they're able to work and they're refusing to work, there's probably a reason behind that. It's probably it's got more to do with. I think that's a deeper rooted issue, and and taking away their support would be hmm. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. When you're troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Yeah, if you can, right? I see it's pretty hard to escape it if you're troubled. If you have troubles, it can be really easy to stay kind of stuck in your head about what you're going through and just like think that no one has it worse than you. But it is better, arguably better, to try to keep cheerful, to try to keep busy with things that are good and happy. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their country. First generation, is that the children born from immigrants? Can refer to a person born in the US to immigrant parents, or yeah, okay, yeah. Can never be fully integrated within their country. Within their country. What is that? Which country? The country their parents came from, or the country they're in now? Uh, the country that, no, yeah, that they're can never. I don't agree with that. No, I don't agree with that. I think they're, yeah. Okay, so yeah, no. If they had said that the immigrants themselves can never be fully integrated, then maybe I could see that sort of. Cause I've met some people that have came from other countries, and they still sort of talk about how great their old country was. They like, or even how bad. I mean, it really just depends. But there's like there's memories. They have memories of their old times, whatnot. But first generation immigrants, they don't know shit. Like all they know is the country they were born in, and because of that, they're just as much part of the country as any other citizen. So they can be fully integrated. If anything, they already are fully integrated. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. No. No, it's not. Again, that goes into like how some CEOs are just psychopaths and they don't give a shit about anyone or anything, and they only care about themselves and making the shmonies. No broadcasting institution, however independent is content, its content should receive public funding. Yeah, I agree with that. Public funding? Wait a minute. So no. I don't agree with that actually. Because then not no no I definitely don't agree with that. Because then that would mean like PBS. Oh, okay, yeah. So what I was gonna say is I don't agree with that because then that would mean that yeah, I think I misread that. Mr. Rogers was Mr. Rogers on PBS. Hello, neighbor. Requesting funds from Congress. No, I don't remember that. What's public funding? Let me hold on. I'm thinking. For some reason, I'm thinking public funding is something else, and I'm probably wrong on it. Under the Presidential Public Funding Program, eligible presidential candidates receive federal government funds to pay for the qualified expenses of their political campaigns in both the primary and general elections. Is that right? Public funding, in its simplest terms, is funding that comes from the public treasury. Oh, okay. That is not what I thought it was.
Now, Mr. Rogers is certainly one of the best things that's ever happened to
On May 1st, 1969, lol 69, Fred Rogers appeared before the U.S. Senate Commerce Committee requesting funds to help support the growth of a new concept, national public television.
And his Peabody Award is testament to that fact. We in public television are proud of Fred Rogers, and I'm proud to present Mr. Rogers to you now.
All right, Rogers, you got the floor.
Senator Pastore, this is a philosophical statement and would take about 10 minutes to read, so I'll not do that. One of the first things that a child learns in a healthy family is trust, and I trust what you have said that you will read this. It's very important to me. I care deeply about children. My first children...
Will it make you happy if you read it?
I'd just like to talk about it, if it's all right.
Sir. Okay.
My first children's program was on WQED 15 years ago, and its budget was $30. Now, with the help of the Sears Roebuck Foundation and National Educational Television, as well as all of the affiliated stations. Each station for a girl can be someday.
I think it's wonderful. Looks like you just earned the $20 million.
He got it. He got the $20 million. Cool. So then, no broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Yeah, okay, I don't agree with that then. Because I was not understanding what public funding was. It comes out of the public treasury. But is television really necessary? I'm not going to strongly disagree with it, but I'm not going to, like, completely disagree with it either. Because I guess in some cases, like, yeah, it says, however independent its content, right? There are some instances, like, I guess, for example, Mr. Rogers, and then also PBS. Like, I like watching Frontline PBS. I love this shit. I think it's if they needed funding, then they should get it to keep doing this shit, to keep doing all this cool documentaries and all these awesome shows. So yeah, no broadcasting institution, but I mean, I also don't strongly disagree, because there are some situations in which there might be a broadcasting institution, like, I don't know any, but there might be one that's just not very good, and they could get their funding, and they probably shouldn't. So our civil liberties are being exclusively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Our civil liberties. So, okay, so counterterrorism, like things like not being able to bring like a water bottle on the plane or something, not being able to, like, certain things. Excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Is it even working? Is any of that shit actually even working? Patriotic Act. Let's see. Congress enacted the Patriot Act by overwhelming bipartisan, involving the agreement or cooperation of two political parties, that usually oppose each other's policies. Bipartisan margins, arming law enforcement with new tools to detect and prevent terrorism. The USA Patriot Act was passed nearly unanimously by the Senate, 98-1 and 35-6 in the House, with the support of members from across the spectrum. Excessively curved, huh? Counterterrorism. Use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in the pursuit of political aims. This is another one where I don't fully agree with it, and I also don't completely disagree. I'll agree with it because I don't think it's actually working. I don't think right, excessively here. Excessively curved. That's why I was saying like I'll agree with this because I don't think that any of the shit they're doing is working. And it's it is pretty excessive. So it's like it's not really, yeah, it's just not doing the right job. There's probably a better way of doing it that doesn't completely violate our civil liberties. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. Advantage. So it's saying one party state arguments that delay progress. Democratic, so we vote. Advantage. I don't know. I don't know anything. So like China would be a one-party state, right? I don't completely agree with that. If you look at China, they are making a lot of progress. You can't really deny that. But then you look at Russia and you're like, well, they're still kind of in the Cold War. So it's almost like, yeah, no, maybe China just has a lot of zergs. Maybe they just pump a lot of money in the right places. But then, if that's the case, then we could do that here too, even with democracy, right? If all they're doing is pumping a lot of money in all the right places, then we can do that with democracy. We just need the right people with money doing that shit. So, I don't completely agree with it. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. All surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. I look, I agree with this, but also not really because if there's surveillance if that's made easier, then it's also easier for wrongdoers to surveil citizens, normal citizens that don't uh yeah. So I don't completely agree with that, although the electronic age makes officials easier. It doesn't only affect wrongdoers. It does affect even normal people. Your information can be sold, it can be mined, it can be abused by those same people they're trying to surveil. Right. It definitely assumes that only the good guys have access to this. So I don't agree with that. I don't completely disagree with it, but I also don't agree with it. So just I don't agree with that. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Absolutely. No, I'm just kidding. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Like murder? Murder for murder? Mm, 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 mm. Hmm. Yes and no. Is there something that a criminal of this magnitude can be used for? Can we send them to war? Can we send them to? No, because then they'll probably kill their own teammates. Yeah, exactly. Mass shooters, serial killers, serial rapists, etc. Uh, yes, if they're completely useless. Like I agree with this. If they're absolutely useless, like we can't use them for shit. We can't send them to fucking Russia to get killed anyways and take out some baddies with them. Uh, but if we can use them for something, then I don't agree with it. So it should be an option, assuming that there's nothing else we can do with them. In a civilized society, one must always, yeah, exactly, turn them into the fucking Suicide Squad. I look exactly that should that exactly, dude. Turn them into the Suicide Squad. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. In a civilized society, so the government, there should always be a government and there should always be civilians. Civilized society. I don't know if I agree with that. If the society is already civilized, then they'll command themselves, right? Because again, if we're talking civilized people, then civilized people have discipline. If you teach people to have discipline from the start, then you don't have to worry about um, enforcing any of this. They'll sort of govern themselves. But in a savage society, then maybe you would need people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. In a society full of savages, but again, so I don't completely agree with that. The alternative, I guess, would be anarchy, but even anarchy is sort of like self governance. I don't know. That's a tricky one. I just think if the society is truly civilized, then they should be able to govern themselves. Ideally, that's a fucking utopian society. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Whoa. Abstract, existing in thought or as an idea, but not having a physical or concrete existence. Relating to abstract. So this shit shouldn't be considered art. Then what are ink blots? Isn't an ink blot sort of abstract art? Is art that does not attempt to represent an accurate depiction of a visual reality, but instead use shapes, colors, forms, and gestural marks to achieve its effect. What is art? What's art by definition? Because I think a lot of artists kind of like will admit that anything is art, like literally anything. The expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as painting or sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. Okay, so by definition, abstract art, if it's if it elicits any emotional power or beauty for that matter, um, then it's art by definition. So I uh, I don't agree with that. Then it doesn't represent anything, right? Because it doesn't have to be representative of anything. Be entitled or appointed to act or speak for, especially in an official capacity. It doesn't have to represent anything as long as it's you look at it and you're like, huh, that's interesting. That's something. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Uh right, but it depends on the what the crime is also. But yeah, yeah. Right. What do you believe art is? Uh, uh I don't know. I like to keep things like strictly by definition when it comes to things like, but I know a lot of people like to take certain words and like take the gist of it and sort of add their own interpretation to it. So I like, yeah, then in that case it depends on what you believe art is then. But by definition abstract art can be um considered art. 'Cause who's a famous abstract artist? There's fucking there are some. There are some like those fucked up looking faces that use like uh weird shapes, or even like cut up news magazines or just magazines, and like they pasted it they're pasted on to make another face. Um what else? What else? But yeah, like if you're saying that something like no, not oil paintings. What are they called? Like this shit. If you're saying this shit isn't considered art, um then yeah, okay, I can see that. Cuz it's just a bunch of like random paint just thrown on a canvas. It looks cool, but I really want to see something more like this, right? Like where there's a, yeah, you got your splattered paint on there, but there's also something in there, but that's representative of something. But then you got this. What is this? You just poured all the colors out on a painting? I'm gonna disagree. I'll disagree a little bit, but also not completely. Rehabilitate some criminals. Yeah, I agree with that. So I disagree with punishment. So rehabilitation, but I agree that it is sometimes a waste of time to rehabilitate a criminal. So you gotta pick your battles. You really gotta you gotta know who you're working with. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. No, no, absolutely not. And I know this because, or I know about this because like a lot of um this is more like a manager type of thing. Like your manager will come in, they'll handle all the manufacturing, all the advertising, they'll handle everything on the back end, and then like give the writer slash artist fucking pennies off of everything what they're taking. Uh, I think that's fucking wrong. And in most cases, they don't need all that money to do what they're doing. If anything, they could just like yeah, if anything, like they can just tell the writer, "Hey, it's gonna cost $1 million for this. Swipe your credit card," you know. And as long as the artist is getting paid appropriately, like they can just fucking pay that shit. It's cool. It's all good. Like you don't need the business person to like hold on to all the money just to handle the everything. Like just have the artist's fucking debit card on file or something and charge him. Like yeah, it's a bad practice. The artist slash writer is definitely more important than anything else. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Honestly, I don't really agree with this one at all. Oh, wrong one. No, I don't agree with that because that's just dumb. That's some sexist ass shit. And in most cases, even if what is a homemaker even? A person who spends their time looking after a home and doing housework rather than being employed outside and home. The maker of homes. Obviously, typically applied to women. So they can have their careers, you can have your little job, you can go work if you want, but you have to come home and make me dinner. Right? Is that what I'm getting out of that? No, I don't think that's their first duty is to be a homemaker. And so then what, the man doesn't do the lawn, doesn't take the bins out, doesn't do shit around the house? When I was in Job Corps, you know, we there's room J's and we had to we I was the room leader, so I assigned my roommates their jobs, their room jobs, right? So um one guy handled the bathrooms, the toilets, and the tub. He cleaned all that shit and the sinks. One guy handled the vacuuming and taking out the trash. and another guy handled cleaning the countertops, and then one other guy handled all the mopping. And that's how we got it. That's how we got everything done, right? And everyone got to choose their jobs, right? We just made the jobs. These are what people need to do, and we can all choose what we want. I chose last because I wanted everyone to get what they wanted, so that way there was no retaliation. No one felt like they were given the shitty job or anything like that. I ended up getting the trash and mopping. So I would take the trash out in the mornings, uh, and mop. But I think ideally, when it comes to homemaking, you split the chores up. You split them up amongst whoever lives in the house. Everyone does something, and together we get everything done. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant, genetic resources of developing countries. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. Plant genetic resources are any plant materials such as seeds, fruits, cuttings, pollen, and other organs and tissues from which plant can grow. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting I don't know. I don't know about this. Um but if I had to say anything, then I would probably agree with it, because since when are multinational companies ever doing anything ethical and unexploitative? You can kind of say like the whole batteries and cobalt situation in the Congo. I can't imagine that that's doing anything good to the plant genetics out there. So I'm gonna have to strongly agree with that. Lay's Chips prohibits farmers from Mexico from growing the potatoes that are used to make their chips. Wait, what's wrong with Mexican potatoes? The hell is wrong with Mexican potatoes? Those are the best kind of potatoes, damn it. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. In sociology and in political science, the term the establishment describes the dominant social whatever, Wikipedia. Dominant social group, the elite who control a polity, political party, an organization, or an institution in the practice of power. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Down with the establishment! So the implication here is that if you want to bring down the establishment, you're immature. I can see that. I agree with that. You might not like the establishment, but if you don't like it, then you can change it by voting for the right policies and understanding what's going on around you. Just by if you understand what's going on in the establishment, then you can change what you don't like about the establishment. So I think coming to peace, making peace with the establishment is pretty mature. Or I would say is something arguably mature. Astrology accurately explains many things. Absolutely not. Astrology is the shit about. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Okay. Absolutely not, dude. You cannot be moral without being religious. You cannot be moral without being religious. I don't agree with that. You don't need to be religious to have morals. I think most people understand that killing is wrong, and that's a pretty solid moral. And you don't have to be religious to know that, because on the other hand, like there are religious people that do kill in the name of Christ, so there's your argument falls apart there, because that shit, or stealing even, right? There's religious people that steal and do crimes and shit, and then they just, I'm sorry God, I'm sorry Christ, I'm sorry Allah, and they're forgiven. So I don't think that morality comes from religion. I joke about it, but no, that's why I joke about it, because it's such a fucking, it's so it's so stupid to think that morals come from religion. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. Charity. So charity. So you're relying on the people that want to help being better than the government helping, essentially, Social Security. Any government system that provides monetary assistance to people with an inadequate or no income. Genuinely disadvantaged. So these are not people that are able to work but choose not to work. These are people that literally cannot work, right? They're like Down syndrome folks. And in that case, you're relying on charity over getting help from the society that allowed you to be born. So I don't agree with that. Some people are naturally unlucky. Luck is all about your sort of like strongly agree. Some people are naturally unlucky. Luck is so right. The reason I say strongly agree at first is because you don't get to be born, or you don't get to choose what you're born into or who you're born by, like who's your parents. You don't get to choose whether you're born into a rich or poor family. Um, you don't get to choose a lot of things. There's a lot of things that you just don't get to choose. And because of that, you can say that that's just unlucky. And that's just natural. You're just naturally unlucky. Right? Because if you had the choice, if you had the choice to be born into a rich family rather than being born into a poor family, I'm sure a lot of people would take that opportunity. They would definitely opt into being born in a rich white family. So, uh, yeah, I think some people are naturally unlucky. And then there's things that you sort of have control over, but really you don't, that are also sort of luck, like you can make friends with a rich white kid, but what if he happens to be racist and he's just using you for some shit, for something that you don't even understand, you can't even comprehend. So that would be unlucky. That would be quite naturally unlucky. There's just some things you can't really, like, okay, so like white kids make friends with black kids as a way to like have a token black friend. Like, I'm not racist. See, I have a black friend. That's that's pretty unlucky for the black friend because he thought he had an actual friend, but in reality, that's just he's just their black card. So it is important that Carlton, right? in the new um in the new Fresh Prince is a token black kid. Yeah, there's a new Fresh Prince. It's on Peacock. I think, didn't Will Smith actually direct it? It is important that my child's school instills religious values. Absolutely not. Uh-uh. What happened to separation of church and state? Do we not do that anymore? Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. No. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. No. No. It doesn't matter who it is. It's just a child being adopted. If they want to adopt a child, fucking please do. No one else wants them. Fucking, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I saw it. I should not be excluded. So they, wait. Wait. Agree? Do I agree with that? Wait. Let me think about that for a second. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded. Okay. They should not be excluded. So I do agree with that. The possibility of child adoption. Yeah, I misread that. I don't know why. I just didn't understand that properly. But no, I think, what's it called? Yeah, no one should be excluded from it. Like, especially child adoption, bro. Like, fucking take them, dude. No one wants them. That's why they're there for adoption. That's why they're fucking up for adoption. Their parents didn't want them. And then like straight couples can just have their own. Like, why would they want to take your nasty ass kid you didn't even want? So please, please, same sex couples, please take them. No one else wants them. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. Yeah. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. Absolutely. No one can feel naturally homosexual. No one can feel naturally homosexual. Isn't the whole thing behind it is that they're that's just who they are or something like that? Like they naturally feel homosexual? How, like, so what? It's a choice. You choose to be gay? I don't think. Well, like here's a good thought, a thought experiment. Would you choose to be gay? If the answer is no, then obviously it's not a choice, right? Could you imagine yourself being gay? Right. It's not, but like I can't, I couldn't imagine myself being gay. I like, even if I tried, I wouldn't like it. It just, it would make me feel icky. It's, I like, I could never imagine a world where I'm gay. I can't believe I just said that word, those words. You can just clip that out now. Fuck! But there's no world where I would find myself that way, or I could even think of myself that way. I could never make that choice. How can it be a choice if I can't even make that choice myself? These days, openness about sex has gone too far. Openness about sex has gone too far? I don't know. I don't think I agree with that. Unless you're talking about that one kid that played porn for his audience on stream, then if that's the case, then yeah, it's gone too far. But um mm, mm, maybe I agree. I think because Twitch advertised Fansly, right? There was a whole incident where Twitch has a naughty problem. Yeah, there's this whole issue right here where you know, they're advertising. I think it was during the award ceremony that I watched that one time. They, like, when they were airing it live or something, they played an ad for Fansly. So I think in that case, in those instances, then yes, I think sex has gone a little too far with openness because it, like, you know, porn sites can just that would be like Pornhub playing an ad on um on Twitch also, or even like one of the YouTube ads, the random ads that pop up when you're not signed in. And like, but like, you know, they're not advertising any sex, they're just advertising like the first part where they're all clothed and they're just, it leads to the sex. You know, that's, so I think the openness about sex is a little, is going a little too far in that sense. So I kind of agree with it. So, yeah. What does this mean? That's me? So, I'm libertarian left? Damn, I'm pretty far in there, aren't I? Mm-hmm. Where would socialists land? Like, way the fuck down here? Is this it right here? Where? Right here? How do I what is this? I'm a leftist libertarian? Is that how I read that? Like sort of in there, not all the way. Cool. I'm ah man, I didn't save it. Uh mm-hmm.